Good morning and welcome to United21 Season 22. We're getting on with the playoffs today, which means all these matches will be on HLTV. The pressure is on a little bit higher for some of these teams who want to grind those points, grind the rankings to get invites to the next tournaments. Obviously, next season will be all about that Valve ranking, so for them, that's also what they'll be grinding, is they want to make sure they can qualify for those majors and get involved in better tournaments and get better invites. But today is going to be the lower bracket round one matches. We've got two on the cards, but if we take a look at the bracket, we can see exactly how the bracket is formed over the last couple of days, so we can see the full overall playoff event. Okay, so one thing which is also to mention as well is that second lower bracket game is Case versus Copenhagen Wolves. Now, Case, for those who aren't aware, they're actually in Shanghai right now. They're playing the RMR, the Americas RMR in Shanghai, which starts, I believe, tomorrow. So that means that they're unable to play, which means they have forfeited their games in the playoffs. Therefore, today we actually only have one game to show, which will be the first game in the morning, which is GenOne versus Illuminar Gaming. Now, that match is quite an interesting one for starters. Looking at Group B, the Illuminar Gaming and Case were the two teams to come out of Group B, and if GenOne will win here, we could be seeing both Group B teams eliminated in last place of playoffs already. You can see on the screen the full bracket graphic here, and you can see that Illuminar, they lost to Astralis Talent, who were a second place team in Group C. GenOne, they themselves came second place in Group D, and they lost to Anonymous 2-1. That brought both teams here into that lower bracket round one. As you can see, Copenhagen Wolves Case at the bottom of the screen, Case forfeiting against Vipero, and I believe they will be forfeiting against Copenhagen Wolves as well. So that match, again, as mentioned before, not going to happen. Now, looking at both of these two teams, GenOne and Illuminar, there's a mix of players, a mixed bag of players in here. The players to watch, I would say, though, are Kersey over on GenOne. He's the highest rated player by quite a substantial margin. He's also the highest rated player in the match that they played over against Anonymous. But a big part of that, personally, in my opinion, I think Kersey plays quite a bait-heavy role. You're thinking of the likes of Jane, where he's playing often late round, doesn't have too much impact early on, and if his teammates aren't able to find the impact, then he fails to really succeed in having any contribution to the round. When you think of a player like Jane, he's the IGL, he's orchestrating all the players around him to set himself up for those bait plays, whereas Kersey doesn't quite have that luxury of his teammates setting himself up, and often it means that he's lacking that impact. But regardless, he's the highest rated player, he does have that potential, and he does have that skill, and that's why he's my player to watch right now. Over on Illuminar, it's got to be Spaviq for his performance earlier against Astralis Talent. Yes, they lost, but he was head and shoulders above everyone with a 1.28 rating. The next closest player on his team was PHR with a 0.98. So those two players are really the players that I want to see go head to head and absolutely brawl against one another on the server. Now, looking at the veto, so we can actually see what maps these two teams are going to end up playing on. We can see the Inferno and Mirage bans come out. These are the perma bans from either side. It makes sense. Dust 2 pick coming from Illuminar. Again, it's their perma pick. I say perma pick. It's their most picked map. 48% first pick rate in best of threes. And they also have a 4-map winning streak on it. Moving over to GenOne, they're going to be picking Nuke all day. It's their preferred map. Again, also their first pick. But also Illuminar have an 8-map losing streak on Nuke on HLTV. It's not a good map for Illuminar, so we're almost certainly a free pick there for GenOne. And then leaving us with an Anubis Decide, which is a bit more of an even ground, but still, Illuminar, a 4-map losing streak on this. They've got 3 maps with heavy losing streaks, have not had a great run of things on HLTV recently, so this is an opportunity for them, especially considering GenOne, I believe, might be working with a stand-in today. I'm not 100% sure. They were working with Kyojin in place of Jax the other day. If that is still the case, they will be missing, obviously, quite an experienced player in that lineup. But regardless, with that map veto, as long as Illuminar can get their feet over Dust 2, which I believe they should be in a great shot of, it's probably their best map, then we should be seeing, I think even then, still a decider map, a 3-mapper, and it will all go down to that Anubis. Yeah, so the stakes for this one, it's elimination, right? This is a lower bracket game. Both of these two teams want to be making a deeper run if possible, but with this being in the lower bracket, only one team can move forward. The other team will be going down in the same place again, as mentioned before, with Case, who I believe are forfeiting that lower bracket game. And it would be a shame if it is Illuminar having both teams from Group B as they fought one another to try and get out of the group stage. They would end up being last place in the playoffs. That'd be quite a disappointing state of affairs. Now, I'm not sure how long we've got left until the players are ready, but we should be kicking off with the action, hopefully momentarily. And yeah, I think Dust 2 is going to be an exciting map, but before we get there, we're going to be taking a quick break whilst we wait for the teams to get ready. And we are live. We are in here, live with Dust 2, GenOne versus Illuminar Gaming, the map pick of the Polish Illuminar. And they're going to be starting on that T side. As I mentioned before, GenOne, they don't actually have that standing, as I mentioned, so they do have Jax coming in. Throughout this entire tournament, there have been matches where Jax has been coming in and out of the lineup. It's going to be fast over here towards Long, a full four-man attack from either side, but it's an absolute bloodbath. Kersey with two, Brooksy and Jax chiming in. The beautiful flash from Davudovic. Illuminar completely shut down. Just blinking, you miss it, and all 4 kills happened. That was obscene. Leaving Furlan 1 versus 5. Bomb not in his control. Looking to try and isolate some fights, but there we go. Kersey, a triple kill. I mentioned the impact that he was capable of if he took initiative. There you go, a triple kill. GenOne in a great standing. Getting those M4s up nice and early, but also just shutting down Illuminar. That should be set a precedent for how this game could go. Early molly from Davudovic secures long control. Illuminar, without that bomb plant, they're going to be on full eco. It will just be the Glock saving for an investment on the third. All their options with this investment, really. Taking any fights is not in their favour, so they're going to sit and wait. Set up a stack, set up a trap for any fights to come their way. See if any of these players overextend towards the top of middle. For now, GenOne going to be happy sitting in their setup. Drac with the M4 firing down at range as they eventually swing out. Illuminar lose patience. It'll be a quick mop-up, just one single kill for Belaney on towards Jax. But that's only an MP9 loss. The 3 M4s will stay alive. In fact, all of the kills came on the M4s. Do have a quick technical issue. Hopefully it will get resolved as quick as possible. Yeah, there we go. We've got Kadzu dropping from the server. Hopefully it'll be a quick restart for him. So Spavacu and Belaney already investing, so we'll have that full investment on Illuminar. They won't be able to afford an AWP, but neither will GenOne just yet. And I mentioned how the player to watch for the GenOne side is Kersey. He's the primary AWPer. And on a map like Dust 2, the AWPs have so many opportunities to take over this game. On both sides, both CT and T. Just simply having that ability on middle to cut off the rotations from either side through the mid doors. Whether you're a CT cutting off the rotations in middle, stopping people going from the tunnels to short or towards top mid, and vice versa. If you're an AWP at the top of mid, stopping the CTs rotating from A to B. You can cut this entire map in half. That's not to mention how friendly all the angles are to AWPers on the rest of the map. Towards B, you can hold tunnels at such a long range angle from the window, from the back site, from back plat. Same goes for A, you can hold so many different angles towards long. Holding the long doors, holding short, posted up inside short, going for aggressive peaks in short. Holding from the site itself, whether you're holding long or catwalk or holding from the car. There's so many possibilities for the AWP to get involved, so many angles where the AWP has an advantage. And that's why financially it's really important for both sides to keep a track of what the opponent has. Because if you're on that T side and you know that the CTs have got an AWP, you can then get util out as quick as possible. You need that utility to actually nullify the rival AWPer. You need the flashes to push him off all of those angles. It does appear that Kadzu has had a power cut. That is quite unfortunate. Probably one of the most annoying tech issues that you can get. Because you have no idea when his power will come back on. You don't know what the cause of it is. Is it a fuse blown in your house, or is it your neighbourhood's power that's gone down? If it's the neighbourhood's, then you might be in for a bit of a wait. It's possible that Illuminar may need a stand-in if Kadzu can't get his power up anytime soon. I've just received word from production that if Kadzu isn't back in 5 to 8 minutes, then Splavik will play in place of Kadzu. So there's a ticking timer here. Illuminar might have to play with the stand-in. Now, playing with the stand-in on a map like Dust 2 isn't too big a problem. Like I mentioned, Dust 2 is such a bare map. I'd call it very barren in the fact that there's very little angles. It's very open plan. That means there's a lot less room for innovation, for changes. It means that every single fight that you take as a CT or as a T is going to be familiar with you. So having a stand-in isn't too much of an issue. There's going to be very little variance in play styles. It's very plug and play. It's very easy to mix. It's very easy to improvise on this map because, you know, it's not too tactically deep. You've got your long spawns, you take your long spawns. You've got your B spawns, you take your B spawns. It's one of the criticisms that a lot of people have of Dust 2 is how much the spawns that the Ts get can determine their approach to a round. Especially with how far apart the spawns are. You can have a spawn which just means that you almost guarantee a long take if the CTs aren't investing incredibly heavy and fighting for it. You can have a spawn which means you have a really good timing to rush B to catch off or even sometimes beat some of the utility that the B anchor plays. And even then within that, all the fights, all the ways you work map control are very, very one-dimensional. The amount of times I've seen more tactical, more, more composed teams. Teams who have a lot more structure. When they play Dust 2, it's almost always the same style of play as well. There's never any variation in the way they approach that structure. It's always start off by taking tunnels control. Yeah, normally a couple players towards the top of mid, holding for long push, holding long doors, holding the top of mid. You then have 2 to 3 players working tunnels. They take tunnels, they take lower tunnels with utility, making sure that they can't get picked from someone on shore or any CTs who have pushed into tunnels. Once you've got tunnels, they then split mid-control with a door smoke. Once they split mid-control, they then work up towards cat. It's the exact same flowchart of events that I've seen time and time again from more structured teams on Dust 2. My point there, as I'm getting sidetracked, my point is that even with a stand-in, everyone knows that. Even with a stand-in, that's easily to reproduce. It's not like having one player missing from that structure, from that coordination. It's not like having that one player missing means that you aren't able to do that structured approach. So on a map like Dust 2, it's not too much of an issue having a stand-in if Kadzu's not able to get back. But if we move on to Nuke, that will definitely be a problem. Nuke is already a difficult map to overcome for Illuminar. It's a weak map for them. They've got a big loss streak on it. It's GenOne's best map as well. That map is almost a write-off for Illuminar already. But because Nuke is a write-off, then that puts a little bit more pressure onto Dust 2. Does having a stand-in if Kadzu's not back in time, does that then affect their mentality on Dust 2? It gives perhaps some openings on CT. Well, as I mentioned, it's easy to have a stand-in on T side. CT side, not quite so much. There's certain protocols and times when it comes to actually fighting for map control if you're not having an easy game on that CT side, such as fighting for long. You need to know the full util sets, the full different takes that you have for taking long, the quick rotations and the timings that you need for the push and pull of map control towards that A site of short and long, as well as the rotations in towards mid. I think on Anubis as well, speaking of that decider, even if it gets that far with, again, Nuke potentially being a write-off regardless for Illuminar, then Dust 2 being their best opportunity. Anubis supposedly even ground. Both these teams like it as sort of their second, third favourite map. But that's a map which does require some sort of structure, the protocols, the set pieces on both CT and T side. I think perhaps on the T side it is similar to Dust 2 and it's easier to plug someone in. I'm saying all this with the context of it'll be Splavik standing in for Kadzu. Splavik is the coach for Illuminar, so he will be familiar with any structures, any set pieces that Illuminar Gaming have. But that then depends on Splavik's individual level. I did see Splavik, I believe, play at least one game in the group stage. Let me just double check that. Okay, I'm not so sure. It doesn't have it listed on Wikipedia, but I do remember seeing Splavik play with Illuminar in the group stage at one point. Don't believe he was dead weight individually. I think he did keep up somewhat. I mean, again, just to remind people for what these two teams are playing for, is normally when it comes to Tier 2, especially with United21, I'm setting the stakes as being the HLTV ranking for a lot of these teams. That's what they're fighting for, is to get to this stage in the playoffs where they have HLTV games, they can get wins under their belt, and therefore gain points and grind up the rankings. And as they improve their ranking, they improve their standing within Tier 2. They can get better invites to better tournaments, which allows them to grind their ranking even more and get higher up those rankings, right? But next year, and I say next year, I mean, the closer it gets to next year, the more this becomes relevant, is it's not going to be the HLTV rankings that people will be working for, it'll be the Valve rankings. For those who aren't aware of the changes, the way qualification for majors work is now based on Valve's own ranking, which works similarly to HLTV's. And while on HLTV right now, GenOne 147th, Illuminar are 87th. So there's 60 spaces between them. So this would be a big win for GenOne to climb up on HLTV. But you're looking at the Valve rankings. Illuminar are a little bit lower down. They're 110th. But GenOne are 203rd. That's almost 100 spots. That'd be a big scalp for GenOne to take to climb up the Valve rankings. And in doing so, improving their own standing in the Valve ranking system. And put themselves in a great spot for invites next year into more Tier 2 tournaments. Because right now, the way the Tier 2 system works is tournament organisers will look at the teams and be like, do we want to invite them? Do we want to invite them? They'll pick and choose. And normally they'll might go off the HLTV rankings as some sort of ballpark figure to say, okay, they're ranked this high, you know, they'll fit in well with our tournament to have some good competition. But now, the way it's going to work next year with Valve rankings is that you have to invite in order of the rankings. So if you run a Tier 2 tournament, you start at the 9th best team in the world, and then you invite from that point onwards and wait for them all to turn down the events until teams start to accept your invites. So at that point, it's not a case of, oh yeah, we've got a good ranking, do you want to invite us? It's a case of, we need the higher ranking on the Valve ranking system in order to be invited in the first place. Oh, look at that. Kadzu is back. The power is back on. So, that entire waffle, that entire talk about potentially having a stand-in of Splavik, not relevant just yet, assuming Kadzu can stay plugged in. Should be back in with the action any moment now. Not sure what we're waiting for right now, but perhaps just waiting for some sort of stability. Or perhaps one of the players has gone to the toilet whilst we're in the technical pause. I know, like Katsu's back. Someone else is away at the loo. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what has happened. It happens more often than you think. For you people watching at home, if you do see technical pauses and it looks like they're about to be resolved, but they still happen, probably because someone went to the loo during the technical pause. Seems to Vidovek is impatient to get going. Swapping his MP9 out constantly. And one thing which is interesting to note is, again, I mentioned the players to watch on the GenOne side being Kersey, but you've still got the likes of Jackson to Vidovek on this lineup. Obviously, a lot of people will be more familiar with Jax, having stood in recently for Vitality in the Blast World Finals, and previously played for G2 a fair few years ago. Most recently, I believe he was on TSM, I want to say. So he's certainly had his experience in Tier 1, but Vidovek as well, a long time ago. Newer players won't remember him very much, but used to be a young up-and-coming talent on a Misfits lineup. So a weird mix of US players or North American players and two Frenchmen of Vidovek and Amanek back in the day. Amanek, of course, went on to play in G2 alongside Jax. But Vidovek played under legendary IGL Sean Gares. Since then, he hasn't been doing too much, just been kicking around the French scene, to be honest. Playing in the likes of Ambush, had a short stint on Heretics. A bit of a longer stint on LDLC. That was back in 2018, after he'd left Misfits. Yeah, he's just been kicking around the French scene since then. But then again, on the Illuminar side, they also have their fair share of experienced players with Furlan and PHR. Both players having played recently in AGO. PHR even at one point playing in the Polish Virtus Pro. Both players who go very far back with their history. It does appear that the technical pause is over. We can continue on with Dust 2. Picking up where we left off, a quick restart to refresh the money, make sure it's back to how it originally was before the disconnect. Illuminar coming into round number 3 will be getting their full investment, getting those 5 AKs and plenty of utility as mentioned before. They don't need quite so many flashes as mentioned. Kersey doesn't have an AWP out just yet. It's going to be a 4-man lean towards that A site for GenOne. Kersey supporting 3 players and fighting heavily for long control. Illuminar, it's a little bit of a slower round. 3 towards top of mid, 2 shifting their way in towards tunnels. Holding for that aggression, as mentioned before. It's the same flowchart of events we see from every single default here on Dust 2. You take tunnels, keep your way in towards mid, push them back off short. After taking long, GenOne secured that with the smoke and dropped back and decide to overload, stack on towards short. The flash comes through and it's at the perfect time. The perfect time to catch off the default from Illuminar. Kersey even activates for 1 in towards middle. Illuminar shut down in a blender there from GenOne. Vudvek will collect the last 2. Beautiful there from GenOne. The fact that they overloaded heavy for long, every single play that they did wasn't half-hearted. It wasn't, okay, let's use what resources are available to... No, they said, no, screw that. We're going to take resources away from that B site, away from middle, load them over towards A. They used Kersey to throw util to support 3 players in fighting and locking down long, making sure they had that heavily. By fighting so heavily for long, it's going to incentivize Illuminar, if they weren't already going to go for a default. Kersey then rotates in. They trust that lone defender towards B. I believe it's Drac. And they find the right time to flash not 1 but 2 players for a fighting towards short. Kersey ready to react in the mid doors as well. So often I see, especially at lower levels, the lower you go, the more likely it happens, weak fights coming in where, in that exact scenario, they would have flashed 1 person towards short, left someone towards long. But no, at higher level, you've already secured long. Leave a smoke there, let the smoke do the job for you. Send 2 players in towards short so that even with the flash, they have that trade potential. If you had flashed 1 player in towards short there, he would have got 1 for 1 because one of those players wasn't blind. The flash wasn't guaranteed to hit every single one of those players. Beautiful from GenOne. And it's broken the bank for Illuminar. They're going to be on just pistols here. Pistols and Kevlar. We'll see what Deagles, or see what these Deagles can find. Managed to creep their way towards long. GenOne. An information gathering mission. Having flashed towards middle. Not spotting any legs just yet. Now going to be leaning over towards this A site with 2 players. Kersey with a flash in hand, ready as a reaction in case anything is spotted by Brooksy towards short. But it's going to be towards long where Davidovec spots everyone, but he overstays his welcome, commits to the spray. Meaning he's only good for 1 before being very quickly traded. Kersey has to try and hold down this site. His best job at impersonating an anchor, but spammed down through the edge of the smoke. Illuminar have gotten away with a man advantage here. Drac will rotate in, but a beautiful shot from Belaney. It's just Jax in a 1 versus 3. Coming in towards long. Beautiful shot on towards Furlan. Jax is a player with incredibly crisp aim on his day. Can he exercise that? Can he flex that against his opponents here? quite. Illuminar able to dodge, and with just deals, they steal around the way. GenOne slipping up on the site there. Davudovic, a wide swing, unnecessary. Kersey, unable to do much more than getting one on the site. Well-timed long swing from Illuminar, maximising the trade potential. But round number 5, after reinvestments come through for the CTs, Kersey can get an AWP out, but so can Spavacu. Beautiful opening. Kersey not able to fire his own sniper rifle off just yet. He's immediately shut down. Verlin just applying a bit of pressure in towards middle. Mid-smoke molly and flash helps him clear out close, and he's looking for a fight. Trying to be a bit of a distraction to pull a rotation, but he's been dealt with. Davudovic now has to try and hold down towards the site, but he's only good for one. It is traded up towards short, putting it back into a 2-on-2. But Illuminar are the ones with the site. Bomb planted. Post plant already being established by PHR. Smoke to lock off short. Jax gives away his location. Spavacu's AWP catches Drac shifting in towards CT. Jackson then has to turn away and save them. Funds on GenOne, not had the opportunity to build them up. Beautiful round there from Illuminar. This is what I mean about with Dust 2. Is on the T side, if you're hitting your shots, you can take any fight you want. Doesn't matter if there's an AWP waiting for you towards long. He beats you to the corner. If you get a flashbang, crosshair straight on the head, you'll win. Get that opening pick. The rival AWP of Kersey goes down, and it means that there's no rival AWP to stop Spavacu with his own sniper rifle, getting a nice double to close it out. GenOne going to be ecoing around Jax's M4. Couple mollies in towards the middle. This is a bit of an anti-eco, making sure they can keep these pistol players at bay. Good utility from Illuminar. Mollies prevent them from being able to take closer ground. Softening up all these players. Finally, Jax is able to activate with this M4. He's only good for one. The rest of his teammates have fallen. I think he's already looking to save, perhaps just gambling on this A site. Little does he know the B site is already in the control of Illuminar. I can get this bomb planted safely on the B bomb site. And it looks like Illuminar might be tempted to hunt. Spavacu was sat still on short. He's going to be creeping his way in towards these angles on his own with an AWP of all weapons. That's not the weapon he wants to be hunting with. There's a risk of him giving Jax an upgrade. But I think they're just going to keep him pinned in. In all honesty, Illuminar don't have the funds themselves to hunt. They want to make sure that this round is as profitable as possible so they can build themselves a bed of cash to fall back upon should they need it. Spavacu spotted him. Risky. Oh, and there you go. AWP lost for the T side. Unless Belaney can recover it. He can, just about. But Jax stays alive. Keeps that M4 in hand. But Illuminar tied that score 3-3. Spavacu attempts the opening pick towards long. So the CTs wait for that smoke to bloom in towards the doors before they can safely peek. 1 minute 30 and already GenOne have burnt a lot of utility. Goes to show how heavy the investment is for taking long. Incendiaries, 3 incendiaries left. And 3 smokes. Illuminar on the other side, I think they have plenty. They're taking a lot of this map control for free. Now starting to work the next phase of map control. Deep in towards middle, deeper in towards short. Furlong's going to be creeping in through the doors. The bomb site about to be tested, and a beautiful shot. Drac just jigging in the doors, domed and decapitated. Jax to defend, jumping up on towards the window, but it's messy spray. In the meantime, Spavacu has cut down the rotations with that sniper rifle, leaving Davudovec 1 versus 5. He's going to be picking up Kersey's AWP, looking to save that. But he's got 30 seconds before this bomb explodes, and then there's an extra 7 seconds of dead time post-explosion. Now GenOne, Illuminar are picking up the pace for the hunt. Davudovec and PHR a little bit slow to shoot there towards long. Davudovec activates, good for 1, finds a second, but he's running low on bullets and he won't be able to get much more. Illuminar remove that AWP, they remove all the rifles from GenOne, but also keeping 3 players alive, it's still somewhat profitable. Going to be an eco for GenOne. Scout up on Jax. Couple upgraded pistols here or there. I think Illuminar know the money's bad. And they know that pistols can't really defend long very well. Jax rotating towards this A side, but PHR has already crept underneath. Ready to surprise. The flash comes in. PHR will catch him off and make it 2. Headshot on the second. Utility comes through to lock out the CTs in rotation, pushes them back off short. Kersey even hunted down, sniffed out by Kazu. Brooksy and Drac searching for any exits. The CZ, definitely not the weapon for the job. There you go. GenOne won't find anything. Illuminar up to a 5th. That's 5 in a row, I believe. Actually, is it 5 in a row? Or did Illuminar win the first off the bat? No, I believe it is. That is 5 in a row for Illuminar. Spavacu, Dan's attack on towards Jax. Again, Illuminar fight towards long. Davudovec pushed all the way back. What did GenOne have in store to try and counter here? To try and get themselves back on their feet? And it looks like a bit of aggression in towards middle, taking tunnels and taking short. Lack of presence from Illuminar should indicate to GenOne this is a full 5-man long setup. After lack of presence in towards middle. Davudovec trusted to try and hold this site. A fall back to play retake. The CT spam this smoke, try and do as much damage as possible as they try and cross. Track with a HE ready for this bomb to be planted. HE comes through. The health on these Illuminar players is incredibly low. Even more so now with one of a few higher HP players falling, and there you go. They start to drop like flies. Kazu and Spavacu into the 2 versus 2. Kersey baits out the AWP shot. The HE will finish off Kazu again. Kersey doing such a good job at baiting out Spavacu shots. Knows exactly what to do. The movement to make an AWPer uncomfortable. And GenOne will successfully retake the site. A lot of damage done to Illuminar crossing. Sets them up for some easy kills. The aggression in towards mid nets them a lot of information to set themselves up more effectively for that retake. Kersey winning the AWP, fighting towards mid, a shot on towards him on suicide. Drac tags low though. Will keep his way in towards lower tunnels. And mollied off. Just about survives, dropping a smoke to try and stay alive, but in the meantime Kersey continues to kill. Eventually Drac is hunted down. That's a double from Furlan. Make it a triple. Finding all these frags in towards middle. And BO3 just walked through the smoke. A messy spray from the Vudovic. It leaves Kersey in a 1 versus 3. He managed to get the 2 opening kills, but as soon as that happens, the rest of his teammates fall. They're unable to evacuate, unable to escape from the extensions they'd made in towards middle. Util being thrown his way towards CT to keep him at bay. Bomb still taking its time to cross towards that B-bomb site. BHR waiting until Furlan has confirmed it clear. Smoking off the door so he can cross safely. As Kersey knows that BO3 is still up on this A site. Trying to find a safe haven, a safe exit. To save this AWP. Has managed to sneak his way through middle. Hold outside long. He sat scoped ready for BO3. Perfect time. BO3 not going to be happy with that one. Wondering why he sat holding for him. A 3 versus 5. 1 for Illuminar. GenOne still able to invest around this saved AWP for Kersey. It's a fight for long. BO3 fancies chances for an opening pick. Catches a glimpse, but no more. Another pick from Kersey, catching Spav and suicide, winning this heads-up fight once more. Man advantage for GenOne. Let's see if they can keep it this time. Smoke towards the mid doors. Hasn't landed correctly. It doesn't block the entire way over the catwalk. It means Kersey does have a sight line. Oh, but they creep underneath the smoke. Little does he know they were crouched. Good presence of mind there from Illuminar. Get their way up them towards catwalk, but that utility will give up the information. There's no one here on the A site to actually hold. Illuminar slowly creeping their way up towards catwalk, on towards this A site. But again, little do they know it's completely empty, and as they're making so much noise trying to make their way up on towards this A site, a flank is coming in. GenOne jumping up on towards the Xbox, ready to retake short. They still have long control maintained. If they can take both of them, it'll completely destroy this A bomb site. Furlan caught, dropping utility, juggling it around. The Drac will find the double kill as they're flashed in. Leaving 2 players on towards the site, and Kadzi will just quickly be traded. GenOne successfully retake that A site with a man advantage. They sit back passively. They say, hey, look, we'll play towards the extremities. We'll hunker down on that B-bomb site. We'll play towards long on A. If they come towards A, we'll just retake short. Maintain long control. Doesn't help that Illuminar took so long to actually take the A site once they started making noise, once they started committing. Gave GenOne so much information to work with. And we enter the final round of the half. Both teams still able to buy, still able to invest. It's a heavy long fight on both teams this time. But Mulaney gets another opening onto Davudovic. Jax gets his way safely over the pit. Before being traded, Brooksy unable to provide him some support with the smoke actually blocking his vision, but eventually he's also hunted down. Overwhelmed in the pit, Kersey now rotating towards the side. Doesn't expect Mulaney to have rotated all the way through, and Mulaney will collect a quad kill. Decimates GenOne in that last round, giving Illuminar a 2-round advantage at the half time. Despite Kersey often winning those AWP battles versus Spavaku, picking him off at the start of the rounds once the AWPs came up. Still a lead for Illuminar. Side swap over. Illuminar on the defensive side of Dust 2. And a beautiful dink on towards Davudovic. Players are getting so used to fighting that angle now, fighting the players jump spotting into suicide. Seeing it more often than not. The CT's happy to take that fight. And often landing a decent chunk of damage. GenOne, they've crept in towards tunnels. Now up on towards Catwalk. Set themselves up for an A split. There are 3 players here to defend for Illuminar. Oh, and that presence towards Catwalk is enough to make Illuminar shift away from long. Step heard on towards short. Spotted. They now commit. Trying to tap down, they dink. Spavaku finish him off. Katsu deterred away from long, but he pivots around and finds another tap. Eventually Jax finishes them off. It's now the players coming in towards CT. It's just Drak in a 1 versus 3 and they jump up. Kadzu, 2 beautiful shots to hold down long. If he doesn't land that second shot onto his long, that's probably the site falling. The fact that he's able to stay alive just a little bit longer by getting that kill on the long player means that the players coming in from short still have to focus on Kadzu, are still trying to kill him. And because they're trying to kill him, they're not trying to kill the CTs coming in from CT spawn. Buys so much space, so much time for that rotation to come through. Illuminar stretch their lead. GenOne, no bomb plant. It's a full eco for them. They're setting themselves up for a pop in towards long. PHR fully blinded, but just holds left click and lands 2. Make it 3 as he swaps to the USP and a 4th. Before finally being finished by Drak, who I believe threw the flash in the first place. He's now going to be hunted down. In fact, he somehow gets away with another kill. That's a $600 kill reward in his back pocket. Plus the $300 for the pistol. If he wanted to, he could have actually got an AWP up for Kersey nice and early. Kersey no stranger to the rifles though. Regardless, Illuminar stretching their lead. Illuminar getting aggressive, a two-man pushing towards the tunnel. They're looking to fight and contest and shut down this default. Jax find a fragging response on Spavacute. He's only wielding a scout towards long. Been domed regardless. Kadzu now has to try and buy time on this site. Drops a smoke. GenOne just creeping around the edge of it. Spam through the edge of the smoke. The Vudavec does catch. But he's traded. As is Brooksy. An advantage for Illuminar. Drac and Jax in the 2 versus 3. They deploy utility, block off towards short, but Belaney's found the space to creep in towards elevator. Looking up towards the site and will catch Drac. Drac does not clear his angles. Jax now rushing down this bomb plant, seeing if he can get that cash injection guaranteed. In the meantime, Belaney can continue creeping and will finish him off. Illuminar get their way up to a 10th. A bomb plant could enable GenOne to get a buy here. Wouldn't be a great one though. Lovely round there from Illuminar. A crunch towards the tunnels, 2 towards lower, 1 towards upper. A reaction comes out from GenOne fighting towards long. And Kadzu does a good job at delaying, buying time. That smoke forces them to have to travel a further distance in order to commit. Oh, good block there from Verlin. I say good block. The smoke still does the job. GenOne going to be going for a half investment. That $600 cash injection, not quite enough for a full buy, but improves the chances of their half buy. Can afford an extra Galil on Drac. Upgraded Tech 9s and Mac 10s. But Belaney in the backside of B will mow down the first 2. A long choke point, a long corridor, the B tunnels. Long corridor on which they can very easily line up. B site hit does crumble. Drac with the Galil has crept in towards middle. There's no trade potential, he's on his own. Brooksy spamming that Tech 9, looking to see if he can bait anyone in. Try and pull a rotation away from mid for Drac to try and exploit. Steps being made to commit again. They're just trying to bait a rotation, bait a step to try and let Drac find the kill. There we go, he finds Kadzu. That actually weakens this A site, but not enough. GenOne were trying so hard to pull that rotation, making so much noise on short to try and pull someone away from mid. They weren't hearing any audio cues to let them know whether it was clear or not. Now GenOne finally get a full bite. The full round loss bonus. 4 AKs and AWP up on Kersey nice and early. Well dodged flash from Spavacute there. See the utility being traded there. The information from GenOne as they were spotting towards suicide saw that there was a push in towards the tunnels. Saw Verlin falling back. Kersey answers back, pins Barbecue to the ground. Jack will try and capitalise on that space. But untradeable. Puts the man advantage back in Illuminar's hands. Kadzu been doing such a good job at holding down this A site. Only finds one before, again, being traded. Still a man advantage for Illuminar until Brooksy steals it away. Beautiful shot from Kersey up on the top of the site. It leaves Belaney now in a 1 versus 2. Not sure if Kersey was spotted there. Re-peeking to the angle regardless, and he wins that fight. A triple kill with a French AWPer. And that trade of utility in towards middle was really nice to watch. The trade of information as both teams aggressing, the utility to keep the players at bay towards tunnels, the utility then to keep the players on short at bay. Only for a boost to come through, but the boost was considered with the flash, but the flash was then considered and it was dodged. Beautiful. Illuminar going to be emptying their bank accounts to afford this investment. Barbecue still with an AWP, but weak utility overall. A late long take for Illuminar, smoke towards the tunnels, or towards the doors. Kersey will stop the wide swing, but there's Kadzu there to trade. Barbecue comes in for support. They do shut them down and pick off 2 players towards long. Jack again tries to find space and capitalise in towards middle, but he's very far ahead of his teammates. And he's been caught through the edge of the smoke. In fact, not through the edge of the smoke, it's through the doors. Even Davudovec. 1 versus 4. The spacing on the players in towards mid. Far from ideal. Position now known and a push from long. Kadzu will shut it down. Illuminar onto map point now. GenOne, they have to force a scout, some Galils, some AKs, very weak utility, but going to use their firepower. The rifle that they've invested, grouping them together to try and find trades. The issue is the lack of presence elsewhere. This is very readable, a lot of information gained by Illuminar. See the over-rotation coming through, but it's Kersey with the scout again, winning the fight against Barbecue. Opening pick. It's a bit of a compromise in Illuminar's setup, but a good reaction there. They realise they needed to double clear out short and 2 of them push. And catch Jack's lurking in to go for a late flank. Furlan now through the edge of the smoke. He's going to be turning, playing anti-flash. Counter flash actually comes through. They're fully blinded. Tries to use those barrels on the site as cover, but it's Brooksy who's going to entry onto the site. 2 lovely headshots. Kadzu now in a 1 versus 2. Last location known, he's going to reposition in towards CT. Kersey scoped up. Did he spot him through CT? I'm not sure if he did or not. Yeah, they don't know. He's coming now. Shifting in towards CT. On a missed shot from Kersey, will catch him now into the 1 versus 1. Davudovec is low. Bomb ticking, there's very little time, but he does have a kit. Just jump spotting, eventually spots him out towards the back of the site, towards Goose. Can just pre-aim him, and beautiful shot. Enough time with the defuse, with that kit. A 1 versus 2 for Kadzu. Might have even been a 1 versus 3, I believe, but it's going to be a 13-6 scoreline for Illuminar Gaming. thanking their lucky stars that Kadzi was able to get back online in time because he found plenty of impact. Plenty of times where on that A site he was delaying for time, holding down that site, keeping the T's at bay and topping it all off with a 1 versus 3 there. Beautiful showing there from Illuminar on their map pick. But we'll be moving to GenOne's map pick of Nuke next, and that'll be coming up after a quick 12-minute break, so don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back to United21 Season 22 in the lower bracket round 1 game, Illuminar versus GenOne. Illuminar are one map up after managing to take down GenOne on Dust 2. It was a great showing from Illuminar on their map pick, but we move on to GenOne's map pick, a map which Illuminar have an 8-map loss streak on. Not a great map for them, and it's one of GenOne's favourites. So, I won't be surprised if this one goes to a third, but let's see how this one pans out. It's a quick 1-for-1 trade as GenOne barrel their way in towards Secret, and it's a quick kill there from Drax, going straight out the double doors, not waiting a minute. Illuminar have been absolutely domed. They didn't have the time to set themselves up. They thought they could try and beat GenOne down towards the lower site, but no, it was a full-on rush outside down towards the B site. PHR left in a 1 versus 4. Got the barrel of Brooksy. Now information traded. PHR will see if you can find any exits here, but spotted. Creeping outside. And he'll actually go down to the bomb. Little does he know the bomb radius on Nuke is massive. It's very large. Bomb planted down safely at the back of the B-bomb site. You can't stand by T-Red without taking so much damage. So GenOne starting with the lead on that pistol round. Illuminar, the second round, it's going to be a force buy from them. Scout on Spavacute. Kazu with an MP9, the rest upgraded pistols. It's fast pace from GenOne. Early smokes to allow Davudovec to sprint in towards Secret, but he's sprinting on his own. The rest are shifting behind him. As far as Illuminar are aware, there could only be one player down. That's the only number they have a confirmation on. They're not going to bite hard on the rotation. It's just going to be furling down towards double doors. Davudovec will molly him off, push him back, and again, they're still yet to confirm the presence of more than one player. Still shifting behind Davudovec. A rotation going to be coming through from Illuminar. They're looking to crunch that lobby. Currently being held passively by Jax. Spavacute Scout will cut down Brooksy. Jax also caught in the lobby. Furlan walks through the smoke, catches Drac with Util in his hand. The trading game for GenOne is falling apart very quickly here. This round has been completely torn apart, leaving Kersey now in a 1 versus 3. Does have the bomb, but he's got to try and isolate some of these fights. Cat's using a difficult angle to clear. Kersey doesn't expect it. Illuminar successfully break the second round and pick up 3 Galils to boot. 2 Galils and an AK even. GenOne just taking so long creeping down that site, which again, the information was in their hands, but an information play was going to come through at some point from Illuminar. They crunched lobby and Jax not in the position to stop them. He was waiting to try and split and go for a late flank towards the ramp. But he's not in a position, in any position whatsoever, to actually hold lobby to keep it from Illuminar. Or any position to survive a lobby crunch. And that was the crucial mistake, because Illuminar get that information and then rotate Spavacute down early. GenOne are then in a sticky spot on the lower site. Taking too long to organise themselves, splitting up too much. Now they're forced to force. Hero Galil on Kersey, everyone else, pistols and Kevlar. Going to be getting down in towards Secret once more with 4 players. Jax this time holding the rotations on the flank towards Secret. Kadzu will slip down alongside Furlan. A well-timed pop comes through from GenOne. Trades come through. Illuminar come out on top 2 for 1. Bomb not planted just yet. Brooksy and Kersey are tucked in towards Toxic. Looking for a reposition. They look to plant. Illuminar realise with the time ticking down, they're likely waiting for a flank to come through. And there you go, Jax activates, looking to split on towards ramp. Spavacu's in such a difficult spot and Brooksy finds him. Rotation now has to come through, but Jax with the M4 will collect a triple. A much more composed round there from GenOne. They don't waste any time setting up some sort of execution onto the B-bomb site. They just pop out the doors simultaneously. 2 through single, 2 through double. And yes, they do lose the fights because they were red. But then they freeze, they sit and wait. They wait for the right time to commit to that plant. And it's Illuminar instead who are the ones hesitating, who are sat there waiting, which allows GenOne to set up a way to close that round. Now Illuminar, they themselves force back once more. MP9s and an M4. A heavy lobby default for them. You're just going to be boosted outside. A nice boost behind credit. Smoke's deployed outside. It allows Drac to clear out close. Cat's using a great off angle here. A gap in that smoke. Vernon going to be holding ramp on his own. Only an MP9. Does drop, now mollied off. Kadzu will find the one towards outside. Beautiful flash there from Vernon, bounces off the architecture. Lines them up. GenOne, turn around, they fall back. Look to split this A site. Brooksy managed to find his way in towards help. And he's cut off this vent rotation. Keep coming on the flank, but oh, it's messy. Can't quite land the shots. Doesn't even land one onto Kersey. 2 versus 2, a very messy fight there from Tvudevec, untradeable. Fortunately, Kersey is here to hold it down. It'll be a quad kill for him. He's up to 8 kills now. Finally, a team wins 2 in a row. That does mean an eco for Illuminar. GenOne looking to take the long-range engagements here towards outside, knowing they're up against the weak line, knowing they're up against the pistols. Try and use their weaponry advantage against Illuminar. Wrapping towards outside. Tvudevec just pinned currently. Juicy HE. Tries to set up Brooksy to give him some cover. Slowly Illuminar are being constricted by these rifles. Barbecue has found his way into his lobby, but Jack's holding from the roof above the ladder. See spray from Drac, but still. Furlong with no Kevlar. Won't provide any resistance. Leaving Kadzu 1 versus 5. Managed to find 1 AK and find a second kill, so a little bit of damage done there, and a couple kills giving him some extra cash, but Outside of that, it's clean for GenOne. 3 players surviving, still profitable. Get themselves now up to a 4th. Illuminar will be investing 5 M4 A1Ss. No AWP up so far on Spavacute. Will be a default setup for the CTs. Outside smoke's thrown from GenOne. Does pull that rotation. Belaney drops down the vent. Vernon continues to hold main. Catches the Vudovik's attempt at a lurk. Drac the same. 2 kills in quick succession for Illuminar. GenOne with a 2-man disadvantage. Got a minute on the clock to try and recover this round, but no utility to work with. They're just going to be creeping towards outside. With 2 players. Kersey going for the lurk in towards lobby. Plan here to make their way in towards secret. Slip their way down. They have managed to get down unnoticed. As soon as they take contact, Kersey can try and catch a rotation. Perhaps they come up the vent to split the A site. But Belaney, the first person to watch, and he's immediately domed. Beautiful shot from Jax. Here comes the rotation. Kersey tries to cut it off, and he does so successfully. Brooksy also finds Kadzu coming in through the ramp. 3 versus 2. It's suddenly an advantage for GenOne. Jax holds down the rotation in towards a single door, leaving Spavacute in a 1 versus 3. This is a 3 versus 5. And in the blink and you miss it, GenOne have got 4 kills. What a round. Cracked open by Jax down on that lower site. As soon as they get that 1 kill, they pounce. They sprint towards single door. They open it up, and Brooksy provides cover for the plant. Kersey cuts off the rotation. Beautiful recovery from GenOne. Breaks the bank for Illuminar. They're down onto pistols again. Eagles and 5.7s. It's going to be an 8-site rush. Util dumped in towards A main. Mac 10 goes out for the openings. The 5.7's able to find 1. Brooksy, very low health, should be able to get this bomb planted. Kadzu looking to crunch the lobby. Kersey holding for the rotations towards outside. Main smoked 2 times over. Kersey does spot Spavacute in towards secret, but now Kersey's being flanked. Furlan will cut him at the knees. And suddenly Belaney's found 2 onto Brooksy and Vudovic. It's just Jackson a 1 versus 3. With a Mac 10 against armoured opponents. It's going to have to be clean, but it's a headshot from Kadzu. Illuminar win another eco round. Just about enough time to defuse. GenOne, what a fumble. They take the site, they lose 1 player, but they fail to hold down lobby. I'm not sure where Belaney got those 5.7 kills as well through the smoke. 5-2. GenOne still have the lead. Another topside pop, but the counter utility is beautiful. Nets Belaney the opening, but it's a good trade from Brooksy on low HP. PHR holding down the site. Furlan doing the same. Man advantage for Illuminar. Kadzu comes into the ramp and catches Kersey, leaving Vudovic in a 1 versus 3. Pushing through Squeaky, a bold play from Spavacute. Gets Illuminar third, but most importantly, it's destroyed the economy for GenOne. Losing just one round, or rather two. In fact, two in a row. They're going to have to be ecoing GenOne with a tactical pause. They were primed and set up to just demolish this map. It's a 5-1 lead against Pistols. That would have been 6-1. But instead, Illuminar have an opportunity here to make this a 7-5 half. They could come back into this game and take control. But just a reminder for everyone, this is a CT-sided map. The most CT-sided map in the pool. So GenOne already with a healthy amount of rounds. If they'd stretched that, this would have been their game to lose. But after losing that round against Pistols, they've given Illuminar the possibility to actually come out of this half with a lead. Time smoke from Katsu. The jump to come through. Good for one. Pivots behind the box. Doesn't drop. Can't quite isolate a second. Spavicu comes in on the rotation. The lurk dealt with by Furlin as well. Jackson Kersey accelerating down towards this lower site, but PHR is already here. Jax has somehow found the timing to get into the vent. One versus 5. Jax is just going to sit and wait for these rotations, but eventually he's got to move. And PHR looks like he's got a good idea as to where he could be. Spotted. There you go, PHR collects the last kill. Illuminar now just one round behind GenOne. 7 throwing his initial utility outside, dumping it to block. To keep Drax slow. And that buys time for Spavicu to come in on this rotation up towards Secret. Freaky re-smoked, but PHR wins a duel before it blooms on towards Jax. But Drac comes in. Main wasn't being watched this entire time. He's had the freedom to lurk through. Furlin neglecting his post, but fortunately the sight hold is more than good enough. Belaney again with another impactful multi-kill. And Kersey cut down by Spavicu. Illuminar tie the scoreline 5-5. Two rounds left in the half. Illuminar will be able to buy up for the rest. GenOne going to have to be a half investment here. A semi-eco, Tech 9s and Kevlar. Jeez, to blow open this smoke, but it's Davudovic the only one to make noise. Yet rest shifting behind the smoke. Make it down in time. Jack's in position to try and hold down these rotations. Perhaps go for a late flank as he did around before. Pop comes through. Good HE from Belaney. Softens them up. Makes his way safely on towards the site. But he's held at bay by their own Molotov in towards double. find Kersey. A smoke come through to block off his sightline. Belaney then isolated on the site. Well identified there from GenOne. Jax's lurk is dealt with. He's not successful at finding anything. 3-on-3, the bomb planted. Now the AKs can have a field day against these pistol players tucked in towards the site, but Katu doesn't clear Brooksy. Fortunately, the trades come through. Illuminar weather the storm. Get themselves up to a 6th. GenOne with that bomb plant does guarantee a full buy on the last. A full healthy buy. Kersey could even get a T-side AWP. Barbecue looking to go for an opening in towards Hut, but misses the shot, and Jax will punish with an extended spray through the wall. An opening kill for GenOne. An important opportunity here to try and deny Illuminar a lead at the half. Belaney has to get himself into a very deep position outside underneath the silos. GenOne with this man advantage, they're just going to sit back and hold. They're waiting for a reaction to come through. 4 players in towards lobby, 1 tucked towards outside. Beautiful flash from PHR. Belaney, after seeing nothing towards outside, is going to reposition. Spots the shoulder of Drak, but loses the fight. Again, an untradeable engagement taken by Illuminar. Illuminar, I think they're just going to gamble stack this top site. That looks to be exactly where the GenOne are heading. They creep their way out towards Squeaky. Brooksy goes down for free. Kersey has him pinned. Kersey will close it out with the last kill as it's traded out on that top site. A tied scoreline 6-6, but Illuminar were invited into this game by GenOne losing a post plant to pistols at a 5-1 scoreline with a 10-second defuse. Illuminar are given a competitive scoreline thanks to the mistakes made by GenOne. Into the second pistol round. By all means though, 6 rounds on the T side isn't too bad at all here on Nuke. Barbecue going to be looking to fight for openings outside, but again shut down by Kersey. The head-to-head between these two players is very one-sided. Davudovic though overwhelmed by a beautiful flashbang, as is Brooksy. Kersey tries his best to stay alive and is bailed out by his teammates into the 2-on-2, but Illuminar have a safe path to get not only to this top site but also down the vent towards lower. Belaney has the rotations cut off towards ramp. Furlan can get this bomb planted safely, but he will be locked towards this back site, and Jax and Kersey coming in together, these two pistol demons sprinting down the lower ramp, taking 2 points of elevation, but Furlan with the body shots will finish Jax, but it's Kersey to cleanly collect the round. Up to a 17th kill for him. GenOne find their way back into the lead. Bomb plant will allow Illuminar to force. A couple Galils. Make that 3. PHR buys late. A fight forwards outside. Both Drak and Kersey. Drak over the top of Secret. Top of the credit, sorry. Do a little bit of damage before falling back. Does set up Kersey to fight in amongst this smoke, but he's going to fall away. Disengages, not wanting to take so much initiative. Brooksy's rotation coming up towards Secret is found. It's dealt with. Kadzu, a quick headshot. Aggression for GenOne, whilst multifaceted, hasn't landed its mark in any one of those three facets. Jax does shut down the lurk. Kersey holds the rotation. Man advantage now. This time in GenOne's favour. They don't have a kit for this retake, but they've got plenty of utility on Jax. But he's separated from the team. He's coming in for a late flank down the vent with all the utility. They don't have a molly to clear out Dark to flush Furlan out. Instead, they've got to force their way out towards the ramp and try and trade. But that's it. Kersey now has to save. I believe PHR will most likely go down with the bomb. As will Spavacue, unless they take 0 damage. Kersey should be able to get out of there alive, and there you go. All 5 players fall for Illuminar, but they're successful in converting the round. A weak retake attempt from GenOne. In hindsight, they needed Jax with them towards the ramp. He had the full belt of grenades. A molly towards Dark. Sure, they had the smoke towards the windows, but a second smoke would have been lovely to either drop towards double, drop towards single, or maybe save it for the bomb. We need that extra utility to help clear out some of these corners so they weren't just completely focused upon by multiple different spots. Regardless, the force buy is successful. The second round break comes through, and GenOne now are in a weak investment. Saved them 4, sorry, for Kersey. But it's a couple MP9s and a couple pistols. Illuminar going to creep their way into a Secret. Just Furlan with this smoke. Kadzu, though, will dome Kersey. Man advantage for Illuminar Gaming. A reaction from GenOne. Looking to crunch towards lobby after losing outside. They catch Blaney side turn in a messy spray. A free kill and an upgrade for a Galil. Illuminar aren't in any position to react quickly off of this, but they are reacting slowly and silently, creeping outside in towards Hell. They're in a prime position to try and split the B site. With Furlan in towards Secret, the other 3 take ramp for free. And again, still silent. GenOne don't have any information on this. Furlan was towards Secret. It's going to make a little bit of noise over towards A to try and pull that rotation away from the B bomb site. There's 2 players still in the lower tunnels. Drac has just left, making it just 1, and that was Jackson. He's been cut down. Furlan holding that lurk to perfection. Not playing just for that late flank, but he also makes one little move to make that site hit so much easier for his teammates coming in towards ramp. That little move of a little bit of presence down towards lower, then moving his way up towards, from Secret in towards main to make a little bit more presence towards top site. That small step pulls the rotation away from B. There was 2 players down there and it reduced it to just 1, that single step. And even then, Furlan is the one rewarded with the kill. Illuminar successfully convert. After winning the second round break, they convert into a third. And it finds them 1 round ahead of GenOne, an 8-7 lead. GenOne do save a couple of weapons, a CZ, a Galil, an MP9. 7 dropped over towards Jax. Will be a full eco. We'll see what these saved weapons can do. Illuminar will be holding on towards lobby control. The Vudavec with the Galil over the top of the credit. Will isolate Furlan. A free pick taken. Rifle versus rifle. Util towards the top side. Speculative. See what the reaction is, but they immediately pounce. Switch lanes. Look towards ramp. Jax will find one. But Kadzu finds the trade. The Vudavec, though, will capitalise on the wild spray coming in to try and stop the plays. Barreling down towards ramp. Leaving Belaney. A 1 versus 3. A minute on the clock. Drops a smoke towards single. And he's running in towards the vent, but that's where Jack lies in wait with the MP9. It's perfect domain for that SMG. And GenOne on an eco with a saved Galil. That Galil getting a triple. Set up perfectly. Takes a 1 versus 1 fight outside, knowing that Furlan will be there on his own. Free kill. Man advantage. Then set up a trap towards the ramp, which is perfect. GenOne don't bite on the utility thrown towards that top site. Jax gets one in all the chaos of not just trading him, but also dealing with the players reacting off the trade. They do enough damage to set up the Vudavec with the cleanup. Scoreline tied 8-8. GenOne, a healthy buy, 3 AKs, 1 M4, 1 AWP. It's going to be a topside pop for Illuminar, using these Mac 10s, these Tech 9s to excel at the range, but the rotation comes through thick and fast, and they're dealing with all of these players, cleaning them up. GenOne back in the lead, 9-8. A lovely topside defense there. The rotations couldn't have come in any quicker. Lack of presence across the map allowed GenOne to read the approach for Illuminar. Now Illuminar onto pistols. It's a single P250 on Kadzu. And that P250 is on an 11 HP player. Chunked down by that HE grenade. Easy pickings then for Drac. Oh, and he's going to mow them all down. A quad kill before being shut down. But eventually traded. Double digits first for GenOne. Now GenOne look to try and mix things up. They're getting aggressive again towards outside. This is the perfect shutdown. Illuminar, they were ready to fight for map control with these rifles. Finally having an investment. A couple trades do come through, but it's GenOne who come out on top with the man advantage. And not only that, Drac can slip away towards Secret and secure a heavy point of rotation. 3 versus 2. Belaney now searching to try and make the hero play to save the round. Found an empty A site. GenOne have made heavy rotations off of the back of their overloaded play outside. They've left that A site open. One player controlling ramp, one controlling secret. The Vudavec just pivoting between the two. This is a difficult setup for GenOne because none of their players are in a great position to rotate, to move, to reposition. And Drac's position is basically nullified by the fact that the Vudavec is still pivoting here. I guess they can just play full retake for that A site. They can just forfeit that site, let Luminar have it, and then just say, we'll make sure they can't get down on towards B. But Drac comes up, searching for info, catches Kadzu. Belaney will rotate, but Drac will find the other. A triple kill for him. Finds the right time to push his way up towards Secret and fight outside. GenOne on 11. And Luminar on an eco. Tech 9s and a single Mac 10. This is going to be a fast round for Illuminar. They're barreling in towards the ramp and they do overwhelm Jax. Jax can only get one before being traded quickly. It's a rifle to be picked up now by Furlan, but they're continuing this pace, Illuminar. Straight in towards that lower site. Splitting through the double doors. HE will blow open those doors. The smoke comes in to keep the CTs at bay. They're going to have to retake through a different point of attack. Not a single player towards ramp. They're all down towards these tunnels. 25 seconds. Track just checking for a flank. They do have kits in play, but it looks like they're forfeiting. They're going for a save. They've lost so much map control down towards that B-bomb site. Being shut down at their intended point of attack and blowing open those doors meant that there was a wide open crossfire. If they wanted to push through that smoke, they would have been met with a blender to the face. Do have a quick technical pause. Hopefully it can get resolved as soon as possible so we can get back in the action. Illuminar winning another pistol round against GenOne. There we go, does appear Belaney dropping from the server. But how many rounds with just pistols have been won here on Nuke? I mean, off the top of my head, there's at least 3. 2 of which won by Illuminar. I remember there was the one that GenOne took on round number 3 on towards that lower site. Belaney back in the server. There we go, a quick restart to make sure that everyone had the weapons that they finished off the last round with. Belaney can get his Kevlar back if he survived the last round. We get right back into the action. Just 2 rounds between these two teams, but also GenOne 2 rounds away from taking us to a third. Util towards outside for Illuminar. Incendiary dropped to slow any players down, getting their way in towards Secret. Versus 4, a trade towards outside. Jack's now tested on the lower site, picks off Furlan, flashes his way into the next angle and collects a triple kill. Beautiful play there from Jax, a beautiful flashbang. Leaves Belaney in a 1 versus 4. A minute to play with, but no bomb in his control, and it's going to be difficult to recover. Money also in a very poor spot for Illuminar, so Blaney going to be tempted to save here, and I can't blame him. Put it this way, next round you're going to be up against map point, meaning you have to be flawless. You're going to have to buy no matter what next round. You're only going to get $2,400 per player. Belaney, by surviving, won't get that cash, but the AK alone is worth $2,700 plus the Kevlar and the extra bit of utility. Means that he'll have a better investment next round by saving. And Illuminar, no matter what, will be investing. Furlan can join him in buying a rifle. Spavacue managed to get a Galil. But I believe Furlan might have dropped over. There we go, there's the Galil. A tactical pause from Illuminar. It's hard to believe that this is their first pause, considering they do have their coach Splavik with them. This is their first tactical pause here on Nuke. Only just now, once their opponents have reached map point. Be the final round of Nuke, with Prime just 1 round away from going to Anubis. And looks to be some pace from Illuminar. A lot of util deployed towards the top side, but they slow it down, ready for a second stage of the attack. But Belaney spammed through the smoke. 1 prong of the assault dealt with, and now this site is being held like a solid rock, leaving Spavacue in a 1 versus 5. The HE to blow open the smoke. Spavacue isolated, and he will get cut down. A beautiful site hold there from GenOne does secure them Nuke. It gets a little bit scary with a couple of pistol rounds won, a couple of eco rounds won by Illuminar Gaming, but at the end of it, GenOne were certainly much more comfortable on that map than they were on Dusty, meaning we're going to be going to a decider map of Anubis between these two teams, an even ground coming up after a quick break. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. And we are back here on Anubis, the decider map of this best of 3 between Illuminar Gaming and GenOne. Again, for the context, the loser is eliminated. It's a lower bracket round 1 game here in the playoffs of United21 Season 22. Now, to get here on this decider map, we've already gone through 2 maps. We already went through Dust 2, the pick of Illuminar, a map which they've got a heavy win streak on HLTV. It's one of their best maps. They looked very dominant despite Kersey trying his hardest to shut them down. Illuminar were able to take Dust 2 in a relatively clean fashion, 13-6, very much in control of that map. But then we moved over to Nuke. And Nuke, you could definitely tell that GenOne were the team in control. It was definitely their map. They were much more comfortable on it. It's a map which, similar to Dust 2, or in fact in reverse to Dust 2, Illuminar have a loss streak on Nuke. But then GenOne kept letting these odd pistols sneak by, these pistol rounds, these individual plays where they wouldn't be traded and then suddenly the pistols would be able to overwhelm, or some key mistakes. There was actually at least 2 pistols, like eco rounds, that Illuminar were able to win over GenOne, which led to a closer scoreline. I believe that was 13-9 if I remember correctly. So a little bit more of a closer affair, leading to Anubis. Now, judging by the performance from both of these 2 teams across these 2 maps, I'd say Illuminar currently look like the stronger team, the stronger squad. Yes, GenOne have their individuals. They have players like Kersey who can find those opening picks. They have multiple players across their lineup, to be honest, who can find those multi-kills when it's needed most. But they also have the players who can very easily slip up and lose those advantages just like that. As Illuminar looking like a little bit more of a well put together team. But it will be GenOne starting on the T side, the favourable side here of Anubis, a T-sided map. It's a 2-3 split, barreling with 3 players in towards middle. Smoke in towards camera and a flash over towards that A site to try and pull a rotation off of this B bomb site, but it's a split in towards Temple to try and split this B site. Brooksy finds the double kill. Spam on towards the second. Man advantage. They are successful in securing this B bomb site, and not only that, they've taken some lovely extremities of both B main, connector, and Temple, meaning there's only one access point for Illuminar, and that's CT, unless they decide to invest the resources to retake Temple, but they're not going to waste that time. No kit in play for them. Oh, and a team kill. Kadzu fully blinded, catches Furlin in the back, and Brooksy's looking to make it a quad, and he will. A 4-piece set of frags. GenOne make their way closer to knocking out Illuminar. Second round, GenOne going to be going for a heavy amount of MAC-10s, the SMGs. It's like Illuminar going to be going for a full eco. And we're saving for that 3rd round buy. Be a full stack behind the doors for Illuminar. GenOne is currently split up on a default. Waiting for any CT aggression. Searching for information, but in the meantime, Drak solo with the MAC-10 has searched and scouted all of the A site. After clearing out A, that buys the Vudavek, or incentivizes the Vudavek, searching towards middle. And there we go. He will spot the stack. Doesn't overstay his welcome, but can't escape. A free kill and a free SMG upgrade. Kersey coming on the lurk. Will hunt for some eco kills. And overextends. Good for 2, but goes down. That's a Galil now picked up. Now, Kersey lost an entire map for GenOne on the group stage simply because of his eco frags. Fortunately, his teammates are able to weather the storm. Smoke will lock them out of camera. HE from Jax will also find a kill. He's Furlin and Kadzu. Kadzu should want to save this Galil, to be honest. Good weapon to have. Good weapon to save. Good weapon to hold. On that CT side. Drak will Finish them off. We'll hunt down those CT players. No weapons to be saved for Illuminar, but regardless, they're going to be going for that third round by Spavacute. Able to get a glass cannon sniper rifle. $50 shy from being able to get Kevlar to back it up, but instead he's able to buy a smoke and a HE. Very weak utility for Illuminar. A lot of their players choosing to buy Kevlar, not wanting to fall victim to the Mac-10 still on Jax. Aggressive playing towards A main, setting up this AWP, but again, Kersey, the 1 versus 1 duels versus Spavacute. Kersey is coming out on top more often than not. But the trade comes through 4 versus 4. Reaggression from Illuminar. They retake A main, but they're just going to deploy a smoke, keep it blocked. The AWP is picked up by PHR from under the table. Illuminar going to be falling back to a retake B setup. GenOne, after identifying there's very little presence in mid for Illuminar, they're actually going to take it for free. A full contact in, set themselves up to split this A-bomb site, which PHR is left to defend on his own. Will cut down to Vudovec, gets that information, the rotation will come through. Jax just going to sit and try and hold camera, but eventually Belaney hunts him down, leaving Drac and Kersey in a 2 versus 4 to defend this A-bomb site. Flash comes through, an organised retake for Illuminar. Drac can't isolate the fights, leaving Kersey in a 1 versus 4. Last alive, but won't find a single kill. The defuse will come through. Illuminar get their first round on the board. The lack of utility they had, they played towards the extremities. Especially towards A. Look to take those fights on their terms. And they didn't move. They just sat in that 2 versus 2. Played retake B, rotated a player over, and then moved to retake A. GenOne now looking to go for a set piece, investing in the Mac-10s, but a scout. In fact, not even a scout, it's an AWP shot from Spavacute. Smoke catches Jax, rotating in through the stairs. It's one piece of utility, not going to be able to come through. The flashes are good, but Brooksy out in front of his teammates. The trades are poor. Kersey baited in, but again, not a single kill. It's just Drac left in a 1 versus 5, picking up an AK. Spavacute will start how he finished. A nice AWP shot. Illuminar successfully hold that A-bomb site. GenOne, their site hit, dismantled with Jax, who was in a position to throw supportive util. He was stood at stairs with grenades in hand, ready to flash these players through. There was a smoke over and towards connector to provide him cover, so he shouldn't have been exposed to Spavacute's AWP. But that's the thing in CS2. Those smokes can be dissipated with a HE temporarily. So Spavacute able to gain vision, fire the shot off against Jax as he's throwing utility. Meaning what other util he had left to throw wasn't there, the extra flashes. Even then, GenOne, they accelerate with a man disadvantage on towards the site. Look to try and capitalise, pounce in the moment. But there's no one there to trade Brooksy. The spacing is awful. GenOne now down onto pistols. 4 Glocks, 1 Deagle, and that Deagle's gone. Jack searching towards A main, doesn't find any success. Kadzu, though, is caught overextending, looking to farm some ecos in towards middle. GenOne able to pick up that AK, that dropped rifle. Now they have a primary weapon to work with, something they didn't have before. Shadow spotted for Spavacute. Blaney's there to mop up, provide some cover fire. Illuminar now in the lead, 3-2. Looking very much in control on this CT side of Anubis. It has to be said since the rifles have come out. Their mid-rounds have looked calm, they've looked composed. Their opening picks have looked simple and thought out. GenOne. Another opportunity here with the rifles in hand. Can they stop Illuminar from getting these opening picks? Can they stop Spavacute from being posted up everywhere they go? For now, he's just posted up in towards jail, waiting for overextension towards B main. It's a slow start for GenOne, but as is the case often on Anubis, each round is slow from the T's, sitting back waiting to see where the CTs are going to choose to go for that opening pick. Double Molly's come through in towards mid. Molly's in towards B main. I love that. Flushes out Jax from a spot he so often plays. Even drops a smoke to extinguish it. M4s will find the frags through the smoke. Spavacute, another pick on towards Brooksy. No trade to come through from GenOne. Davudovec reveals his location by picking up that rifle. Spotted now, crossing the doors. Kadzu, happy to dance, happy to pivot. But falls back. Gamble stack from Illuminar, 4 towards A, just 1 towards B. And now start to rotate over, mid cleared. A bit of presence made by Kersey in towards Con. He will creep out, looking to search for a fight. He's forced to take initiative now. He'll keep his way into these smokes. Caught by Blaney. He spots him and he'll mow down 2. Leaving Drac 17 seconds in a dream in a 1 versus 5. It's going to be another save. Illuminar stretched their lead to 4 and it's clean. Not a single kill for GenOne. A nice well-timed opening attempt from Illuminar with a B main take. Followed by a rotation and a pick and a shutdown in towards mid with the AWP. And at that point GenOne get desperate. Flash. A play in towards A main. PHR on his own to try and defend against it, but dodges the flash and mows down 2. GenOne shut down in their opening attempt. PHR looking for some more, blowing open that smoke this time. He's now got Kadzu to come in to support, but Kadzu fully blinded and he's the full HP player. And Jack's two beautiful deagle headshots on towards Belaney and Spavacute. Catches the Illuminar Gaming players overextending. Furlan trying to lever some control on this round. PHR finds a triple. Even Davudovic in a 1 versus 2 scenario. Bomb on his back. Shifting in towards A main. PHR will catch time. What a flick from Davudovic. 1 versus 1. Davudovic will rush this bomb plant. Should figure out a flank is possible here from Furlan. Davudovic on just 1 point of health. Will Furlan peek around the corner in time? No, Furlan's got into cover in towards heaven. Util deployed gives Davudovic information. Time ticking, there's a kit in play, but no smoke. And Furlan caught jumping Davudovic with a 1 versus 2. Will net GenOne around finally. That opening attempt still failed them from GenOne. The flash through the smoke in towards A main. And they lose 2 players. It's a 3 versus 5. But Illuminar Gaming get over complacent. Looking in control of this game so much, they let that slip by rushing on the rotations, hunting for those eco frags, but are met with the deagle of Jacks. Or peak. Kersey spots the leg. Will land the leg shot on the knee to Spavacute and forces him back. But they don't expect Brooksy to be so close. He catches Furlan. Spavacute still so low on health. Just 1 single bullet from Brooksy will do this. Spavacute lands it. A peek over top of the smoke from Belaney is good for another one. An equal 3 versus 3 as Belaney is then traded. Kersey catches Kadziu creeping through the edge of the smoke. Drag holds the aggression. Giving PHR 1 versus 3. Minute on the clock, GenOne don't need to pounce just yet. Let's sit back and wait for PHR to reveal his location. They can head in the other direction. Last thing I want is to accidentally walk 1 by 1 into his sight without being in good trading. Drac is going to search the A site, clear it out. If he finds PHR, then GenOne can beat him to the B site. If not, they'll slowly creep their way to meet on the empty site. And PHR just going to make a gamble on towards the B site, tucked in towards dark.
Bomb has been planted.
Bomb now planted. PHR can pick up that AWP in towards Con. Look to save the sniper rifle. GenOne are hunting a little bit here. They don't need to. I mean, sure, they want to remove this AWP, but they don't have the funds. If they lose too many weapons, there you go. It's now a costly round. It's no longer profitable. There's only 2 players surviving as we see the investments come through on Drac, Brooksy and Davudovic. The bank accounts will start to empty for GenOne. Now, should they lose this next round, they'll probably be on an eco, somewhat of a half buy. More likely. Regardless, they're still able to invest in. It's a fast opening attempt from Kersey, but shut down by this flash. Kept at bay by Furlan. Molly's traded out. Missed shot from Kersey. Spavaky posted in towards middle, waiting for the peak to come through. Kersey is taking point in towards mid, the smoke deployed by Spavaky. They're just going to creep on through. They've noticed Spavaky falling back off the angle. Does Spavaky expect them to be so close already? No, he doesn't. Lands the tag, but shut down by the AK. GenOne now pounce. They accelerate towards the site where PHR is left to defend on his own. He'll find one, but the trade comes through. Man disadvantage. Illuminar now have to save. 3 versus 4. They don't fancy their chances at a retake. And Kersey is hunting for these frags. Searching for these saving players. Despite having an AWP himself. Even Katsu. 1 versus 4. His teammates fall in the save attempt.
Terrorists win.
Round number 10, GenOne finally in the lead. Weak investment here for Illuminar. We've got 3 M4s, 1 saved AK, but a FAMAS on PHR. And the utility is next to non-existent. Spavaky doesn't have that AWP to go for those opening picks, which they started this half with. GenOne have successfully taken A main control. At the moment, completely neglecting middle. Illuminar not wanting to make a move just yet. Need to find the right timing if they want to go for an opening attempt. Bit of pressure applied to B, pushes them back towards retake. Smoke deployed towards A main, but Spavaky gets sight of Brooksy before it blooms. An opening kill. An advantage for Illuminar. The 5 versus 4, they still have a kit in play, so they're happy to sit back and play retake towards B. Furlan spotted. Fudovec edging around the corner, but Furlan holds his line and Kersey is not in a position to trade. Fortunately, Drac is. He comes through, albeit delayed. Still a man advantage. Kersey still trying to pin these players to the wall. In the meantime, his rifle is falling around him. He can't do anything about it. Bomb to be planted. 2 versus 3. Smoke towards CT. Allows Kersey to reposition. PHR coming on a late flank. Catches both players. 2 headshots. A triple kill. In fact, no, it's a double for him. Illuminar tie the scoreline again. A beautiful opening. A well orchestrated sight hold there. Ready for that contact play.
Counter-terrorists win.
Round number 11 and GenOne. Now they're the ones with a couple economic compromises. A couple Tech 9s, but Kersey still with the sniper rifle in hand. Does find the opening. Pick on the A main aggression from PHR. Spavaky tries to shut him down, tries to win that fight. But when he lands a tag, the HE almost finishes Kersey off onto 6 points of health. Then we're in a full belt of utility lost. Maybe not. Fall back and play retake towards the B-bomb site. Man disadvantage, they're going to overload towards A and mid. Barbecue flashed in to this next angle. In middle. Now grouped up with Belaney. They're going to start to search. Going to be an execution on towards this B-bomb site. Smokes towards Temple and CT. Site will be taken and Illuminar out of position. I think they're just going to have to commit to that save. He's trying to hold down their position. Jax will eventually take down Belaney. That would have been really useful for Illuminar to save that weapon into the final round of the half. Instead, it has to be a reinvestment. The cost is that extra utility on Furlan. It's still a healthy buy. They've got 5 kits. Decent amount of grenades on the majority of their players. Still an AWP up on Spavacue. But Furlan lacking utility. Opening pick attempt here, but the Molotov is good. Drac is going to mow down 2. Somehow Furlan still finds a kill on towards Brooksy. Drac allowing that to happen. One-man advantage for GenOne. Illuminar. A minute 20 to try and work their way back into this round. At the moment, GenOne setting their sights towards B2, shifting their way in towards connector. The bomb into Vudavek's hands, looking to group up with Jax. Belaney just going to be holding an off angle at the back of the platform. But a good flash will fully blind him. Drac accelerates and hunts him down. 5 versus 2, Spavacue and Kadzu, you have to go for this. Oh. Make that 3 versus 2. Kadzu will shut down Kersey and connector. Spavacue creeping his way in towards CT. Off angle held by Drac. It's too much to deal with the AWP. Even Kadzu 1 versus 3 time ticking position. No, and Jax will just hold the angle. Catches him, util in hand. GenOne will finish the half with a 2-round lead. At the start of that, it definitely looked like Illuminar were the stronger team in control of things. But then GenOne started to find the openings. Eventually, they were no longer getting shut down by Illuminar Gaming wherever they'd go. I think that's kind of what that first half was. It was whoever got the opening really had control of the round and closed it out. And Illuminar Gaming slowed down. They struggled to get those openings, and when they did go for some aggressive openings early on, GenOne were waiting for them. But we will swap over. Into the second half. And we've gone from the most CT-sided map in the pool of Nuke to the most T-sided here of Anubis. So by all means, this is 5 rounds on the CT side is not bad for Illuminar. They're swapping over onto what is supposedly the stronger side. GenOne now on the defensive side. Give me a kit flash for Kersey. It's 4 sets of Kevlar for Illuminar. Smoke, flash on Furlan, second on Belaney. And we're using that to aggressively fight in towards middle. They immediately turn. They realise there's nothing in towards mid, so they sprint over towards this B bomb site, smoking towards Temple. Jax, the lone defender, playing retake towards B. His teammates shifting, going on a flank towards A. Bomb planted. Guaranteed force buy in the next round for Illuminar. But the question is, will GenOne be ecoing or not? We'll find out as they accelerate in towards connector. Kadzu to lay down the law. The flashbang shuts him down. Spavsky tries playing anti and is successful at getting 2. Kadzu comes in on the trades and they are shut down, leaving Jax to come through. But again, he is also traded. A round win for Illuminar puts them up to a 6th. Also puts GenOne on likely an eco unless they choose to attempt a second round break here. Going to be aggressive for Illuminar, set themselves up for an A split. They take A main control for free, but a counter flash. In fact, it's not even a counter flash, it's a counter swing. The Mac 10s mop up the first 3. The HEs come through, and GenOne will find 2 kills, but that's all. I say that's all. That's one of them. Only 1 AK left to save there. Not sure how many AKs they went into that round with. Thailand scored 7-7. Spavsky was tempted to get an AWP out nice and early there. Not going to. Going to stick with the AK. Still working with 2 Mac 10s. I think perhaps a fast round in play for Illuminar, driven by that investment. GenOne, a couple compromises have to come out for them on the first gun round. 2 MP9, so they're going to afford that extra utility. Utility traded from both teams to try and hold on to map control. GenOne are just decimated in both points of contention. Connector and middle, 2 players fall, leaving Jax in a 1 versus 4. Will catch Kadzu, holding for those rotations in middle. Illuminar might accelerate to go for some exits or go to hunt, saving Jax, but not too aggressively. They don't have the funds to keep on buying. Just want to make sure they save as many weapons as possible. Furlan should search for an extra rifle, but he might keep that Mac 10, knowing that it's likely an eco or a half investment here in round 16. Couple MP9s, couple CZs bought up around this AK. So 3-player lean over towards B. Jax with the AK in towards mid, searching for a duel. Drac with a flash ready for contact, but contact is only going to be taken towards B. Smoke. The mollies come through. Flush these players out. Kersey isolated, his teammates not in a position to support him. Illuminar get that opening kill, but they don't overcommit with the smoke still in play. A counter flash comes through, but that's exactly when Illuminar were turning around to look towards escaping. So none of them were caught blind. They can turn. The sound of the flash and the sound of the push, and Brooksy gets taken down. Illuminar accelerating after causing such a heavy rotation. They accelerate in towards middle. Over towards A. They take the site for free. We'll plant safely behind the cake. GenOne likely to look to save his primary weapons. Jax can save that AK. Jack and Davudovec at the very least want to save their Kevlar, but might even want to keep these MP9s. Especially with Davudovec investing quite heavily on 1100. Yes, he's got a full round loss bonus, but CT side economy is more expensive. The rifle's that little bit more expensive than on the T side. The incendiary, that little bit more expensive. The kits have to come into play.
Terrorists win.
There you go, the MP9s are going to be kept. They're going to be saved. Kersey will buy into this one with the sniper rifle. And the first half Spavacue on the CT side was very successful in getting openings with his AWP. See if Kersey can repeat that. Going to be fast for Illuminar in towards A main. Looking to take control of that portion of the map with pace. And they do take it, but they're met with resistance. They lose Spavacue in the process. A heavy lean towards the A side of the map for GenOne. Brooksy with multiple HEs there, dropped at his feet, looking to damage any players close behind that smoke. Drop an incendiary that keeps Furlan at bay. Illuminar setting their sights towards this B-bomb site. GenOne, it's very static with this man advantage. Brooksy drops a smoke. Do find an opening on towards the site, but the CT is able to fall back through the edge of the smoke. It's equalised though with the trade to the 2-on-2. 20 seconds left. The utility, the smokes will start to fade, and Kadzu is stuck, pinned. He will manage to get out of there. Kersey will catch Belaney. Kadzu now on a 1 versus 2, dancing around the pillar. Kersey will catch him, trading Drax's death. Kersey just hoovering up as much utility as he can find before committing to this defuse. It gets close to Illuminar, a nice little sight hit there. GenOne a little bit too static despite having that man advantage. They allowed Illuminar to creep all the way close towards the extremities of the B-bomb site. GenOne were stuck trying to hold. Two-on-two split up, or set up for GenOne. Focusing again on towards A main, but Illuminar, they look to approach this B-bomb site nice and early, testing Brooksy and Davudovec. Brooksy will find 2, in fact he finds 3. Davudovec will fall for free. Brooksy happy with a 4 versus 2, he'll get out of there and try and save, but good HEs there from Belaney. can't finish him off. Just a one-man disadvantage as the bomb is planted. Spavacu trying to hold down the flank. A late rotation will come through from Drax in towards B main. Blaney will focus his attention towards CT. Molly comes through. Blaney in the off angle. Can't quite finish his meal. Kersey will pin Spavacu to a wall again, winning that heads-up fight. GenOne tie us up 9-9. Illuminar still able to invest, getting that bomb plant, an extra $600 cash injection. Will gladly go their way. Drac looking to try and contest in towards middle. They'll catch them util in hand, but the trade eventually comes through from Katsu. 1 for 1. Puts GenOne in a sticky spot. Now mid is a vulnerability. Illuminar aren't pouncing just yet. They look to gather their thoughts. Here towards the top and middle. We'll just contact in. Kersey holding towards camera. As the angle pinned. In theory should be good for 1. Smoke gonna come through. I'll land towards Temple. Flash pushes Kersey off. Little did he know they wouldn't have actually blinded him, but he's able to re-peek. Molly comes through. A lot of counter utility being thrown from GenOne towards his extremities. Worried about the possibility for flank. Kersey's now going to get curious. Going to start creeping in towards this angle. It's not being held though. Blaney's good for 1. Kersey somehow found 2 before being traded. Jax now has to defend this site on his own, but he can pivot, just dance around, hold the off angles and isolates just one player. And PHR can't trade in time. The spacing not there for Illuminar. GenOne will be first to double digits, up to 10. And that's the bank broken for the Polish side. Be a semi-eco for them. Tech 9 armor buy. It's going to be fast in towards middle. Lots of utility to push Drac back. He'll just about escape in towards Temple. Dropping a smoke in towards middle. Cause a lot of chaos and he'll be spammed down through the smoke. A rifle then picked up. Jax to try and defend this A site. Will spot info. Kersey dancing around the pillar. Only good for 1 before being overwhelmed. Not in any position to reposition. 3 versus 3 as the bomb is planted. A couple of weapons now picked up for Katsu and PHR. Brooksy creeps through the smoke and somehow finds 1, but here there is a trade. And Spavacu a dink onto Davudovec. The health is low on these GenOne players, and Katsu with this picked up AWP is in a perfect weapon to shut them down. Spavacu just dancing around the stairs. Will find Davudovec, and Katsu swings on contact. Illuminar keep the game tied 10-10 with Tech 9s and Kevlar. They overwhelm GenOne. Going to be a double AWP setup now for GenOne. Jax picking up a secondary. Going to have that one pinned towards A main. Kersey taking his AWP over towards their B site. Keeping sight over on B main. Meantime, MP9 and the one M4 to try and take contact. Try and work map control towards connector, but Brooksy eats a flashbang. Verlin tempted to walk through, but instead he just spams. And Brooksy goes down for free. An advantage. Jax catches the shoulder of Kadzu. 4 versus 4, no trade comes through. He tucks his way towards the left side of B main. GenOne looking to go for a bit of a gamble stack here towards B. Illuminar 40 seconds. They're going to take the bomb over towards this B bomb site. They realise Jack's posted up with the AWP. They don't have enough utility to deal with an AWP on that A site. They don't have the mollies to flush him out of multiple long range angles. Only one single smoke to actually block off one of the multiple sight lines he could be playing. So instead, they're going to take it towards this close quartered spot of B. The smoke will block off at least one of the sight lines. They can then focus their attention towards the right hand side of the site, but that's where Kersey holds from Con. He'll pick off Belaney. Jack with the rotation early comes through. Bomb will be planted, but it's a 4 versus 2. PHR, Barbecue have to try and recover this. Have to find the multi-frags, but they won't find a single one. GenOne collect their 11th. A triple kill for Jax on the secondary AWP. Puts Illuminar in a compromised spot, economically speaking. Kadzu and PHR and Belaney, for that matter, can't really get a good buy. Do they eco and let GenOne get to map and match point? Or do they force buy and put it all on round 22? Barbecue and Furlan do have some extra cash, so and the decision is a little bit easier. You can go for a half investment here around 22 and save enough to buy around 23 no matter what. But give yourself a fighting chance here. I mean, if you just do the maths, right? You can either have a 20% chance of winning here with a force buy with a... Actually, no, let's be more reasonable. A 35% chance of winning here plus 20% in the next round with a poor force buy. Or you can go for a half investment here, and it'll probably be around 25% chance, 25-30% chance here, with a 50% on the next round. But that looks to me a bit like a force buy. Which isn't bad, to be fair, considering those rifles in play. The opportunity to save is there. The opportunity to get a bomb plant is there as well. But I seem to be going all in on round 22. Jack still with his secondary AWP. Now, knowing he's got a secondary AWP, that does limit the CT's opportunities for going for retakes or dealing with execute. So if Illuminar are committing to this force buy, they could go for a fast, explosive play, catch off the AWP, overwhelm him. It's hard to multi-frag on an AWP when you've got multiple players rushing you down, but it does look like GenOne are going to get disruptive, going to get aggressive. Brooksy flashed in towards window. Searching towards carpets, not going to find anything. He's not got any support around him to help hold, so he's going to fall back. Illuminar instead are going to set up for that explosive play towards A, but a little bit delayed. Smokes will come in. Jax deploys the counter utility. Furlan just going to charge on through. Drac isolates PHR. Bomb will be planted, but a man advantage for GenOne. They can hold on to this extremity of heaven. It gives them multiple pathways back in towards this site. Furlan playing close to the Mac-10. Tucked behind the wall, but Drac, another kill for him. Messi on the spray, the Tech-9 will trade. And Kadzu, fading in towards the smoke, will be left last alive, and the trades do come through. And in fact, again, it's Jackson Kersey and the AWP left alive. The AWPers will be the ones somehow finding the trades. GenOne get themselves on with the map, match, and series point. But that extra layer of Illuminar coming in from that bomb plant give them an opportunity to go for another investment similar to the last. And Jax has done away with the secondary AWP, decided to pick up the M4. Fast play from the Mac-10s, dropping in towards the water. And PHR will mow down two. Kersey only good for one with the AWP, but he couldn't escape. It's a perfect collapse on towards that B bomb site. This time the set play, the fast explosive piece over towards B with a split through middle. Drac and Jax should look to save. In fact, they need the save, dare I say. Their loss bonus is at the lowest, 1,400. Drac, and the Vudavec will not be able to buy. Kersey won't be able to get an AWP next round. This is such a promising spot for Illuminar. Jax needs to just get out of there. Do not even risk throwing a HE just to get an extra kill. You gain nothing by killing Illuminar now. Illuminar will be able to buy next round no matter how many weapons you pull away. You need your weapon. Jax can drop over. At least one. Illuminar using their tactical pause. Again, I feel like this is the first one they used. It was similar on... I believe it was Nuke. Waiting until GenOne were on a map point to use attack pause. But the final round of regulation, deciding as to whether we go to overtime or not. Illuminar have a full buy. They have everything. AKs, 4 grenades per player, AWP on Spavacute. Whereas GenOne, looks he's only got an MP9. I believe there's an M4 or a weapon. In fact, no, it's another MP9 on the Vudavec. 2 MP9s, no AWP for GenOne. Smoke deployed. Jax set up for an open kill, but PHR will punish. Doesn't clear his close corner. Man advantage for Illuminar. Holding off angle in towards camera. Look to peek on the timing. Good for one, but it's a quick trade to come through. That opens up this A bomb site for Illuminar. Three versus 4. GenOne have no reason not to go for this. To try and deny overtime. To try and close this out in regulation, but it's not going to be easy when PHR shuts down Brooks and even gets information on Kersey, who will flash himself in and successfully deal with PHR. Next up on the plate is the Vudavec, but domed by a Molotov. Will go 1 for 1. 1 versus 2 clutch. Kersey drops a smoke on the bomb. Completely misses the bomb, actually. Util deployed by Kadzu. Beautiful one tap. There's simply not enough time. It's going to be sticking the bomb regardless. Spavacue's going to go for the wide swing and will finish him off with just a second left on that defuse. finally, after Kersey winning all the 1v1 fights against Spavacu, the final round of regulation here to take us to overtime on the final map. Spavacu into 1v1 against Kersey with 1 second left on a defuse. As close as it could be, such an even ground, an even matchup between these two teams here on Anubis. Both teams have had their fair share of woes on this map. Losing to pistols, losing to eco buys, whether it be Deagle or Tech9. Now we head into overtime. I believe it's 16k, there'll be no saving. There'll be no ecos. It'll be truly about who is the best on the gun rounds. So the countdown ticks. Both teams raring to go to try and close out this map. And close out this series again. Both these two teams fighting for survival in the playoffs here of United21. Both teams hungry to get a win on HLTV. Yes, they've made it this far through the group stages, but at the end of the day, they want to get wins that matter more. Again, full investments from either side. There will be no saving. GenOne play heavy towards the extremities here. Neglecting middle. Illuminar look to close in on this B-bomb site. They push GenOne back off connector. Missed smoke on towards the back flat. But if anything, actually nets them a kill on towards Brooksy. Fortunately for GenOne, Drac can find one in response. Bit of a missed flashbang. But a 4 versus 4 as the bomb is planted. Util traded here in Con. Furlan isolated, but he wins the fight. Kersey just baiting, not playing for the trade, but in fact he finds 2 off the back of it. But in the meantime, his teammates have fallen. Into a 1 versus 2, another clutch scenario, but Spavacu will cut him down. That could have got scary there somehow. Kersey's able to find a couple kills. Illuminar in the lead in overtime. They're successfully bullying this B-bomb site with these slower splits. GenOne struggling to play retake. Or losing too many players when they should be playing retake. Now it's aggressive in towards A main, but Kersey shuts Spavacu down. Revenge for the last round. Beautiful flash through the camera smoke is so well timed, but Drac can't control his spray. Instead, he goes 1 for 1, but still it's a man advantage maintained for GenOne. Brooksy looks to hold connector on his own and catches Furlan creeping through the edge of the smoke. Brooksy forced back, pushed away. Laney left in a 1 versus 4. Position known, Jax will hunt him down. Scoreline tied again, GenOne 13-13. Scoreline tied. Issue for Illuminar as his opening attempts are now starting to be shut down. GenOne again, they go for a gamble, a heavy lean towards this A site. Does leave this B site vulnerable. Spavacu looks to go for an opening. Vudavec and Brooks caught between a rock and a hard place. They expend both their smokes to extinguish Molotovs, and PHR catches Jax's aggression. Just sat there waiting. Illuminar make it look like they were trying to collapse on towards this B bomb site with smokes coming in from B main. And it baits Jax's rotation out, but Kersey is held for PHR to try and capitalise on that kill. So 4 versus 4, still a minute on the clock. But a lot of utility has been burnt from both sides. There's only 1 smoke left, and that's in the hands of Kadzu, and he's just used it right in front of us. Blocking off camera. They're setting themselves up for a split on towards Con. Furlan will look to trade. It's successful, but little does he know Brooksy is also in place. It's a proactive push, and Brooksy pivots around for a second. Eventually, Kadzu will come in and shoot him in the back, but it's tracked hold and off angle. Another lovely shot from Kadzu. But doesn't expect Kersey to come through CT with the AWP. I thought Kadzu, I thought Kadzu was setting himself up for another clutch. The same way he closed out Dust too. But not today. Be a 2-1 half for GenOne. We now look to assess Illuminar's CT side. Again, now that they have no financial troubles, now that they can full bite every single round. What does GenOne have in mind on this T side? It's going to be a slow start, a steady start. They sit back in their default. Mutil traded in towards middle, shots fired, but barely a lick of damage done. Illuminar pushed back. They received their information and execute on towards this B bomb side, but Illuminar, they sit and hold in towards connector. A 2-man play, a firing squad established, but they're running low on bullets. The rotation is going to come through the smoke. Man advantage for Illuminar still, a 3 versus 2. Furlan smoked off. Kersey looks to commit this bomb plant safely for CT and Temple, but Furlan has crept around the edge of the smoke. Will catch Kersey. Even Brooksy, 1 versus 3. Here towards CT, bomb planted for him. Flash will come through, it won't blind him. The molly will limit his peaks. The HE softens him up. flushes him straight into Kadzu's waiting arms.
Counter-terrorists win.
Illuminar keep it tied. Good two-man setup in connector. An opening attempt over towards A main from GenOne, but a PHR holds strong. It was such a difficult force to deal with for GenOne in the first half. How solid PHR holds down towards A main. Ready, anticipates these aggressive plays. Will get his way safely up on towards the plat. Still a man advantage for Illuminar. What did GenOne have in the tank to fight back with? All their players still split up currently. GenOne are just waiting, hoping that Illuminar make a mistake. So far, they're not giving them anything. Drop comes through. Look to accelerate in towards connector. Furlan fully blinded, but there's Belaney with the trade. The two-man setup. A missed shot from Drak. PHR capitalises, leaving Brooksy and Jax 2 versus 3. They're grouping up, sprinting, accelerating in towards connector. He steps Herd. Belaney's just going to tuck and bait. SpavQ takes contact first. Smoke deployed by Brooksy. Tag down low. SpavQ will whip out the 5-7. 3 seconds left, that's it. Brooksy has to get out of there, has to try and save. But even then, there's still cash left for him to buy. He doesn't need to save. The round ends. The outcome of those kills at the end mean nothing. Illuminar Gaming up at the map, match and series point. After being the team to try and make the comeback here on Anubis, they're now the ones in control. And Vudvek will find the opening, catches Kadzu in middle. Lets his guard down. Now GenOne, they look to accelerate after taking mid control. They're primed and ready to split this A site. SpavQ forced back in towards the site. He can't make it safely in towards heaven. PHR will try and drop some utility, but the flashes are good and the A site capitulates. GenOne now in a 5 versus 2. Make that 4 versus 2. To try and shut down GenOne. In fact, there it is. Overtime. We go again. 15-15. One simple error from Illuminar. One player caught off guard and the entire CT setup crumbles. Illuminar not in a position to react off of it. We continue into on Anubis in another overtime. Illuminar on that CT side. One thing they looked so strong at in that first half was finding these openings in constructed manners. Jackson, a committed corner, will be overwhelmed. Traded 1 for 1. Good util to soften Delaney up. He's just going to play to block Brooksy in towards Con. Pulls a rotation of Spavacu over towards this B-bomb site. There's a pop, an explosive play on towards that B site. They had all the extremities. The flashes are perfect.
Bomb has been planted.
They clean house on B. Again, there's no saving in overtime. Kadzu and PHR, there's no reason not to go for this. PHR will find the time. Play the trigger discipline. Catches Davudovec. Kadzu wins the 1 versus 1. It's now into the 2 versus 2. Kersey and Drak, but the time is ticking. Kersey accelerates to try and find the fight. Will isolate Kadzu and Drak. Pivots. Nice little setup between the two Frenchmen. Guess Gen won the first round in the second overtime. Kersey pins Belaney to a wall. Jax capitalises on that opening to find the timing. Furlan got to try and defend the site on his own, but a messy spray is only good for 1. And again, the B site falls. It's these quick splits for Gen 1, setting up from the start of the round, whether it's between middle and A or connector and B. Just constricting these sites, getting the opening picks, forcing Illuminar to sweat. But again, Kadzu, PHR, 2 versus 4. It's the same rotations that they made last round. This time, Gen 1 can be prepared. There you go, the double swing comes through, leaving Kadzu towards B main. And there we go. Davudovec, a triple kill. Illuminar starting to look like they're running out of steam. As Gen 1 look to have figured out the solution for Illuminar's CT setups. Be a great opportunity for a tactical pause from Illuminar, but the round continues. Looking for some aggression, smoking towards stairs. They don't find anything. Gen 1 are happy to fight in front. Paupers exchange blows towards A main. Tag traded, Spavacu coming out worse for wears. But Gen 1 again, they look to collapse on towards this B bomb site. This time it's a contact and they've found it's completely empty. Perhaps they've heard the rotation. Util now come through to lock them out, and Furlan can't even kill Jax. Bomb planted, 5 versus 4. Utility rains on through to lock these players out of the site. Again, Illuminar, they have to go for this. It's the last round of the half. But right now, Gen 1 have such control of the extremities. They know there's no one towards water or B main. They can focus their full attention on this site to holding CT and Temple. So many flashes coming through, fully blinding everyone. But it's a killing for Illuminar. A laid to waste. Gen 1 up onto map, match, and series point. And they have 3 chances to win 1 round. That's all they need. Just 1 round. So Illuminar, they need 3 in a row. If they lose just 1, that's it. They're out. One round is all it will take. Illuminar cannot afford to slip up. They can't afford to make any mistakes. Can't afford to go down untraded, to miss utility, to whiff shots. Aggression early in towards middle. Take control of the doors. Take control of house. GenOne set up. Triple towards B. Kersey with the AWP looking for an opening pick, but won't find anything. Voodoo exits and holds this push to come in through Temple, knows it's a possibility. And he'll mow them both down. The trading, the spacing, not there for Illuminar. A crucial error, a crucial mistake. Gives a two-man advantage to GenOne. And PHR forces his way through the smoke. He goes down for free, leaving these last two players towards B main. Just Furlan in a 1 versus 4. Cutting his opponents down to size, but he bites off more than he can chew. It will be 19-15 here on Anubis. Double overtime and GenOne eliminate Illuminar Gaming in top 8 here in the lower bracket round 1 of United21 season 22. It was a massive brawl between these two teams, ending there on Anubis. Again, just a reminder, the first map, Dust 2, Illuminar, they stomped their way through that, looking very comfortable, very confident. Nuke, it was a bit of a more of a back and forth, but you could tell GenOne, that was their map pick. You could tell that they had the set pieces, they could recover in the mid rounds, they were experienced, had the reps on that map. We moved to Anubis and it was just back and forth constantly. Hard fought game from both sides. Commiserations to Illuminar Gaming and congratulations to GenOne. That's us done for the day as KC Sports have forfeited against Copenhagen Wolves. So goodbye for now, we'll see you tomorrow.